The Jesse Blake Sports Report with Jesse Blake.
So there's a story on KSL.com by Ryan Miller that's titled Utah Hockey Club Facing Trademark Hurdles in Finding Permanent Name. And if you're not familiar, KSL.com is a news outlet, media outlet. They do like news, sports, and weather based out of Utah. So they're a news company. And this article I find fascinating because Utah can't find a name because the U.S. trademark offices are saying that Yeti's the name they appear to really want to go with, the name that I love, I think the majority of Utah hockey fans love. They can't trademark it to get things like put Yeti, the words Yeti on a t-shirt, because there are so many Yeti t-shirts out there right now. You might know the Yeti like cooler brand. They make like mugs and stuff. Yeti exists. So when they filed the application to trademark the name Yeti to use it for their hockey team and put it on everything, this is what the U.S. trademark offices, patent offices wrote back. They said, Trademark Action Section 2D bars registration of an applied for mark that is so similar to a registered mark that it is likely consumers would be confused, mistaken, or deceived as to the commercial source of the goods and or services of the parties. A non-final action issued on January 9th said. So Ryan Miller wrote in the article here that the problem, Yeti already has numerous trademarks in standard and stylized fonts for just about all of the things that Utah would want to trademark. So things like a hoodie that simply says Yeti or Yetis. The patent office came back and said they have a t-shirt in the market already that says Yeti across the front, and that's trademarked. We can't allow you to then call your hockey club that and subsequently make hoodies and t-shirts or coolers or mugs that say Yeti. So Utah is unable to trademark the name Yeti right now. And this is so fascinating because it's not just the name Yeti. Let's say they're like, okay, the patent office won't let us do this. We gotta abandon this. They also submitted applications for other names, and they were also denied. Utah Blizzard and Utah Venom, Ryan writes, both of these trademark applications were also refused due to a likelihood of confusion. And then Utah Hockey Club, he writes, this one was refused on the principal register due to the applied for mark is primarily geographical descriptive of the origin of applicants' goods and or services. In simpler terms, you can't just trademark Utah. But there is a workaround for Utah Hockey Club. If they wanted to use that going forward, they can file what is something called an intent to use application, which they filed that back in the spring of 2024. So they can kind of get around that because they have the copyright to use it right now for Utah Hockey Club. So that can kind of just continue with an amendment. So there's a real trouble here with the Utah Hockey Club and in getting the rights to use the name Utah because, like they say there in their response to Utah registering Utah, you can't do that. They can't own the moniker and put that on a shirt. And then Yeti. Yeah, this makes me personally so sad because Yeti has always been my favorite name for this team. I think it would fit the market. It's such a turn from the names we've gotten recently where it feels like just like the Kraken. Like the Kraken fits the vibe. It's unique. There's not another team name like it. It was so perfect for that market. Same with Golden Knights. We've actually had a really good run here of new team names. And I felt that Yetis was going to align with those. You know, our third one in recent memory, we go Kraken 10 out of 10, Golden Knights 10 out of 10. Then we get Yetis 10 or Yeti 10 out of 10. And now they can't do it. And I wonder how they get around this because it's not just, hey, we can pay more money to get this done or there's workarounds. This is the law you're working with. And I guess Yeti, the brand, the cooler brand, and it has the rights to all of this, and they'd have a say in this. And I know they don't want any of this to happen because they want the foothold on their brand, but I hope there's some way to work around this. I am not a lawyer. I do not know how to work around this, but I hope that Ryan Smith and the Smith Group and his family and the ownership there find a way to work around the patent or work with the patent office to get this done. Because as of right now, in my mind, I think we might have another year of Utah Hockey Club. I think we might have another year with this team name because of how long this copyright issue is taking and how much of a struggle this was. Like, they filed these applications back in September. They get responses in January, and the responses are no. So if this is what they want to go with, we might have months and months of more lawyers going back and forth on the phone. That I think this team's going to have to carry Utah Hockey Club for a little bit more time here. But that's strictly speculation on my mind. I don't know how this is going to work, how this is going to unfold, but I can totally see a case where 25-26 season, they're still Utah Hockey Club, and it takes another year to get Yeti sorted with the patent office, or you got to abandon the whole thing and go with something like the Utah Outlaws, which they are also apparently applied for. Utah Mammoth was also in their applications, just to run down everything they had in there. Blizzard, Venom, rejected. Hockey Club, rejected, but they can work on an amendment. Mammoth and Outlaws were found to have no conflicting remarks, but some bookkeeping will be needed to clear up the application. So they didn't file the application for Mammoth and Outlaws correctly. One of two things land here. I think it's going to be Utah Mammoth over Outlaws if they go with the team name for next year. If they're set on Yetis, maybe we have a delay of a year and they keep fighting, or they abandon Yeti and we get Mammoth. That's kind of how I'm thinking this plays out. But drama in Utah around getting a team name. Fascinating stuff. That's it for me right now. I'll see you again very soon. Thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be listening or watching right now, and I appreciate you for that. Hit like on this video if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on audio, subscribe to the Jesse Blake Sports Report YouTube channel. I appreciate you for that as well. Good night from Toronto.
And that is how it's done.
The Jesse Blake Sports Report with Jesse Blake.
Jesse Blake, the guy that likes to hear his name twice in one sentence. Sure, I know him. No, he doesn't have an ego at all.